Welcome to Face to Face. Today, in our studio, we have a cricket legend, Ravi Chaturvedi. He was the first Hindi commentator of cricket test matches in India. He started in 1960-61, am I right?
That's right.
Excellent. And ever since, he has covered hundreds of cricket matches, and as well as he has written about almost 24 books on cricket, and really he is an authority on cricket. So we are very excited to welcome him to our studio today and talk about cricket.
Thank you. I will only like to add what you said. I'm not an authority. I'm a student of the game.
Okay.
And I'm a great lover of the game. And in fact, when I go to cricket, I say I'm going on a pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long journey of cricket extending over nearly 6 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really enjoyed it. It's been a worthwhile journey.
Sure. So now my only challenge is to cover the 6 decades in 15 minutes, which is going to be very difficult. But let's start in 1960 and 61, how you became the first Hindi commentator of cricket.
Well, I think it was a situation where the masses were starting to take interest into this game of willow. And they were not very comfortable with the English language in which the game was being broadcasted. So therefore,
before 1960, it was all in English.
That's all.
Yeah.
And therefore, it was decided that there should be Hindi coverage of the cricket matches. So that's where my audition was in English, but then I was approached that if I would like to do in Hindi, because that was the need of the hour. So very reluctantly I agreed. In fact, I didn't agree readily. Mm-hmm. But the director of All India Radio told me, look here, there's a big chance for you to do this. Mm-hmm. I was not very happy about it. I had a neighbor who was an engineer in All India Radio, and I went to him in the evening and I told him this episode. He straight away, the moment I told him, they've asked me to do in Hindi, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm comfortable. He said, no, grab the opportunity, Hindi is the future. And I remember his words, those were prophetic words. And I still remember it very nostalgically, and I accepted it. And then
so do you know roughly how many Hindi listeners are there in India or for a cricket match?
If you ask me about the number, I don't think that is a very correct situation.
Okay.
Because southern part of the country, and I would not exclude entirely the southern part of the country, I'll say Tamil Nadu particularly. That is the area where the Hindi may not be understood properly, but the rest of the part of the country, Hindi is more or less followed. And especially over the years when they have been listening to the Hindi commentary, and I think they are now conversant and comfortable with Hindi. Not only that, I took a step. I thought if I announce, the description was in Hindi, but at the end of the over or in between when I was announcing the score, I thought to myself, if I say Ninyanve, it will not be well understood in South or other parts of the country where they are not very comfortable with Hindi. So I used to follow it up with the announcement with 99 for 4. So that made things, acceptability of Hindi was also there with the masses. So this played a role. And over the years, this is what the media says and this is what the people say, that because of the Hindi commentary, the game itself was able to cross the frontiers of the metropolitan cities and go into the far-flung villages. And now they are enjoying the fruits of the enjoyment of cricket, which I think was the role supposed to be performed by the Hindi cricket commentary.
So now, over the 6 decades since you got involved into this cricket sports, there has been a complete sea change in the game, both in terms of, for example, now the one-day cricket matches, and the game has become immensely popular with so many teams all over India, and it's just being played like we have sports here in the United States. So, in your view, how the game of cricket has changed, and has it all been for good or bad?
Well, I think there's a very relevant question in the present scenario. It's a paradigm shift as far as the cricket scenario in the country is concerned. The game, which was restricted, if I may use the word, restricted to Test cricket only, or a longer format of cricket, was a very artistic type of cricket which the connoisseurs used to enjoy the sight of a beautiful leg glance or a late cut or a swinging ball or a turning ball. You had a lot of time. You were relaxed, go to the ground and enjoy the cricket, the nuances of it, and savor it, think about it, talk about it, write about it. But the social changes were taking place, and the society had to take cognizance of those social changes which appeared particularly as the aftermath of the Second World War, when the pace of life also changed. And with the changing pace of life, the cricket has also to keep up its own pace. And the doorway to it was opened by Kerry Packer. He provided a package of entertainment which came in the format of one-day cricket. The colored clothing, the night cricket, because people were busy in their daily
So
routine.
which year that happened? When that happened, that transition?
This happened in 1977-78.
Okay.
And that was basically a clash of ego between Kerry Packer and the Australian Cricket Control Board, Mr. Parrish, because they did not get the rights to telecast the cricket in Australia, which was being done by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC. So Packer thought of something. So he alternately organized a Rebel series, which is known as World Series cricket, which he contracted. All the players were contracted. The best of the players in England, in South Africa, in West Indies, and they formed a Rebel series. 2 teams they started playing. And people liked it. It was thought of it was a big gamble he took and organized cricket matches in a football stadium and so on and so forth. With that, the cricket establishment also thought that maybe this is a way, we cannot get away without this, that new form of entertainment which has come. So there was a sort of a dialogue between them, and finally it was accepted that yes, Kerry Packer will have a right to telecast the cricket in Australia, and then the rebel cricketers came back to the establishment, and the ICC also adopted it. But the major part was that in England, after the Second World War, the coffers of the county clubs, they were becoming empty. There were hardly any spectators on the ground, and they were also looking for an opportunity to introduce a new format of the game. And MCC formed a committee under a former president, H.S. Alton. And this committee recommended that we should go for a new format of game, which should be a shorter version so that people can enjoy the weekends or later in the evenings. And they themselves introduced Gillette Cup in 1963 in England, which was the first form of the one-day cricket. Of course, the one-day cricket also came because of the situation. In Melbourne, the last test was washed out, which we call as Boxing Day test, because of the rain.
Sure.
So they decided how to entertain the spectators.
So which one is more popular today?
Well, if you ask me, there are two parts of this question.
Okay.
One, which a connoisseur will always say that it appeals to him. But as you know, today the best part of the cricket today is the shorter format. It could be either 50 overs or it could be T20. But let me add here. If you ask me, a man at the age of 82, who has seen cricket through the different phases, I'll give you an Indian explanation.
Okay.
What is Test cricket? Now, let me start from T20.
Okay.
T20 is like a rock music. That. That's it. 50 over cricket is a Bollywood music. You like some songs, they stay for a while. Test cricket is a classical Indian music. It suits your heart, it touches your heart. Test cricket is mother cricket. You cannot disown your mother.
Sure.
Your roots will be blown away if you disown them. The major component comes from Test cricket. But what is needed today is, let us not be blown away by the new wave of the instant cricket. Let's have a combination. Let each one of them supplement and complement each other. That is what the administrators have to do, which they are not doing now.
Sure. Now, how the money has changed the game of cricket?
Money makes the mayor go.
Sure.
If you ask me, and I ask some of my idols, whom I idolize as a youngster when I was watching cricket. You will be surprised to know that Mr. Polio Brigger told me that when he got into Indian team in 1948, for a 5-day test match, they used to get 3 shirts, 1 pullover, 1 India cap and 1 blazer.
Mm-hmm. No money?
250 rupees per day.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There was a written requirements for a test match.
Mm-hmm.
One essential thing was a cobbler outside the dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
Who has, if any buckle comes up, he has to stitch it.
Mm-hmm.
On the rest day, polish all the shoes and pads. Today, so you see the change in the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
When they were playing for the love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The money was nowhere. Money was hardly a constraint for them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big change in the scenario.
So what is the situation now? If you,
So today,
in terms of money, let's say how much an average player gets.
I don't think you can guess or I can guess.
But just guess, just from your experience.
I can only tell you that today I won't be knowing about what they get.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, I mean, you can't imagine because it is not only the payment which they get as a match fee.
Mm-hmm.
They get a lot of things in terms of endorsement.
Sure,
so their people are there sitting there, they're waiting for them outside the dressing room to say, and today you do this thing for half an hour and you will get.
So now, despite the growing popularity of cricket, why it is still not part of the Olympics?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Yeah, it is not. Basically, if you ask me, and it's my personal opinion, who controls cricket? ICC, International Cricket Council.
Hmm.
The body which controls the Olympic movement or runs the Olympics is IOC, International Olympic Committee.
Hmm.
Now, each one has its own Swaraj, their own kingdom, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to give in. It's an ego clash.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking at the larger picture of this development and promotion of the sport. They're looking on this ego clash. Why? The coffers of ICC are today full. They're all full, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Today, if they become the member of the IOC, International Olympic Committee, they will become subservient to IOC.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the majesty which they enjoy by themselves, that will be subjugated to IOC.
Mm-hmm.
That is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is the coffer, the money.
Mm-hmm.
Then, whenever there are Olympics, the money goes to the IOC.
Mm-hmm.
And IOC will decide whom to give, whom not to give.
Mm-hmm.
That's not question, but answer number one. Number two, by becoming the member of the Olympic movement, cricket becomes a global game.
Mm-hmm.
Today, cricket is only a game of the erstwhile umpire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Sure.
Then, this
But
will
slowly
be
it
a
is expanding
platform.
though, like for
This
example.
this is a platform which will make cricket a global sport, which is very essential for cricket.
Yeah, sure.
Lastly, I'd like to add, because cricket is not a global sport, it's all like 10 test playing countries or 12 now. They are getting money because they are participating in a big league. But associate members, in some of the countries, if you are not a member of the Olympic Committee, you are not part of Olympic movement. Government does not give you any financial assistance.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And that is where they are starving for funds to promote game and to keep the game going.
Mm-hmm.
But tomorrow, if ICC cricket becomes the part of the Olympic movement, because they become the Olympic discipline, the government will start funding them. Mm-hmm. So that is a bigger gain for cricket in terms of popularity, in terms of promotion, in terms of allowing the game to grow at the grassroots level in the associate countries.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Bhutan, Maldives,
Sure.
they are playing cricket, but they are starved of funds.
Sure.
Because you need turf and you need infrastructure. For the infrastructure, if you are part of the Olympic Games, yes, you will get from IOC, you will get from ICC, and also from your own government. So this will be the big step. And if you use the word global sport, then cricket can become a global sport.
Now, it's very interesting you mentioned ego. So I'm just trying to turn the topic a little bit, change the topic.
I will add to the word ego also.
Okay.
Let's look back. MCC has some sort of a vision about the future of cricket. And a MCC committee was formed And the MCC committee has also recommended that cricket should become the part of the Olympic movement. Then only it can become a global sport. So there's another point that the cricket, within the cricket establishment, one of the components is saying let's become a global sport.
Okay. So now I want to bring the topic of ego to the players. So let's talk about, in cricket, what did you come across some players, like for them, the ego was really, give us some examples of one or two players.
I think it's a very, I mean,
I know
it's very embarrassing for me to say, comment on that thing because I, with all my years into the game, one becomes, very balanced and you start treating.
I understand.
And
sure.
I'm a teacher also, so I feel there are kids,
Okay, so let me ask some other,
my emotions.
I'm going to put you on a spot.
I will tell you, I'll answer this question.
Okay.
What your basic question is very correct, and I must answer it, but in my own way.
Sure.
You see, I told my cricket association, Delhi Cricket Association, DDCA, that 1 year I will not do any commentary in Delhi and make me the local manager of all the visiting teams. So I was local manager of Australia, of the West Indies, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. What was the idea? The idea was to study the behavior pattern of the players. I think your question is also around this. So it's practically this maybe in some way answers your question. So when you see a player, when he gets out, he abuses himself, he curses himself, puts his bag down, throws his gloves here and there. So I really wanted to find out. And suddenly a kid walks up to him for an autograph and he brushes him aside. And we as spectators looking outside say, oh, this fellow is very arrogant. So I also wanted to study all this. So one of the batsmen got out, and same thing happened, which I have described just now. I told my dressing room attendant, keep a jar full of ice water and also a bottle of Coke open there, and you come out. We both came out. After that, we found sounds. Something was dashed against something bad. So after 5 minutes, I told him, peep into the dressing room. And you find if some coke has been used or cold water has been used. He looked inside and he came and told me, "Haan sir, pee liya pani." I said, okay. Then after 2 minutes, I just opened the door and I asked him, "Do you need anything?" I said, "The man is okay." I said, "All right." I knew what he did. When he went inside, he was cursing himself again, the mistake that he committed. He threw his bag, bang, that's why I could hear. The bags here and there. Then he took time when he had a drink, then he cooled down, then he was normal. This is the time when his behavior pattern is at the climax. When you go, "Sir, please give me autograph," and then he pressures you.
Sure.
So this is a part of the human behavior. So we have to look from that angle, and this is what exactly I wanted to study there. And then I talked to them and on all those things, which was very educational. It was a big education for me also. I think partly I have answered your question.
Yeah, no, I understand. Sure.
I agree that I have not fully answered your question.
So now, so I will just give some, ask you some random questions and see if you can answer them with your experience. Let's talk about which are the 3 best teams today.
Not because I'm Indian, so I'm saying it. I certainly look at things in a very balanced and a very proper perspective. If you look at the performance of the various teams and evaluate on some sort of a meter, I'll say today India's team is one of the best teams. The reasons are very simple. There is one department which has over the years has been the weakest link in India's cricket makeup, and that was fast bowling. After Mohammad Nisar and Amar Singh, there's a big vacuum till Srinath and Venkatesh Prasad came, and now how many fast bowlers you have? You can't count. You played 3 fast bowlers. India has never played 3 fast bowlers in a test match. And you have 2 out sitting outside. In the West Indies, you were playing 3 fast bowlers. Umesh Yadav was sitting outside, who was equally a competent bowler. And you have that few at home also. So this has become a very strong bench. And if you look at the history of cricket, it is invariably, barring few instances here and there, it is the fast bowlers who have turned the tide against their opponents. Whether it was Larwood and Bose, whether it was Ridwan and Miller, whether it was Hall and Griffith, all over Statham, whether Tyson or Statham, all over Imran or Safras. If these fast bowlers who changed this scenario completely, then they brought the gains to their team. And that is why today you have a good fast attack. That's why you are also winning.
Sure. So the India, what will be the other team you will meet?
Today, I think England and Australia, they are equally very good teams. The way England played in the World Cup, I was quite impressed with them. Then let us not forget that the Australian cricket is a very professional cricket. They have a very big bench strength, which India also has a good bench strength. That is, if one player is injured, we have another. Can you imagine in India? A man who made a triple century, Karuna, is not playing anymore. Only Sehwag and Karuna, they have made triple centuries. And one of them is sitting outside.
Why is that?
This is the wealth of the talent that you have.
Okay.
So this is what I say, your bench strength is so strong now, that's why India's team is good. Similarly with Australia also. The similarity between Australia and India today is our domestic cricket is very strong.
Yes.
In other countries, Pakistan has that problem. Pakistan doesn't have a good, they have individual good players, but their domestic cricket is...
The strength of the bench is not there.
Yeah. So that's why they are not getting good players.
Now let's talk about the top batsmen today, like one or two which has really stuck in your mind that they're really great.
If you ask me in the present generation of players who are playing now, I think if you ask me, I think Virat Kohli, there's no doubt. I was in West Indies recently, and even there, everybody, I mean, I won't have to say they themselves, Sir Viv Richards was saying, so the Gavaskar was saying, and the West Indian other commentators were saying, and they all saluted Virat. They said, why Virat is like? Virat is not technically a good batsman also. The attitude, this approach and attitude of Virat, who's very aggressive, the aggressiveness is not ingrained part of Indian psyche. We are very gentle people.
Sure, absolutely.
This is something very out of the blue for the foreigners to see an aggressive Indian captain, and his approach and attitude is so aggressive. He wants the results at any cost. That is what. This they have not seen. And I also like his attitude. The other good batsman that I find, technically I find him is Joe Root of England. In the larger format of the game, these are two batsmen who are really good. Then let's not forget Smith, Australian, former captain. He underwent a trauma of match fixing, and he was debarred, banned, that humiliation, you know. That affects your psychology, your psyche. He came back and he proved a point that he's a good batsman. He was hit in the last match. And I don't know the latest score, but in the morning what I saw, David Warner, such a prolific batsman, was dismissed today for a 0. And Smith came, still was playing with the 28 or 30 odd runs still. Last test, the test which Australia won, it was all because of Smith, a century in both the innings. So these three are the great batsmen at the moment. That is Virat Kohli, then Joe Root, and here.
What about the spinners today?
The spin bowling is slightly in the background. Say, for example, any team at any time was playing with two spinners. They will go, in India used to always go with even three spinners, but even in recent years, if you look, we were going into test cricket with Ravindra Chandra Ashwin and Rajendra Jadeja. But then we got two wrist spinners, which was a very unique thing in international cricket. After a long time, we see two wrist spinners at the same time playing for India. That is Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav. Now, in international cricket, because wrist spinners were scanty, there were few and far between, so the players were not accustomed to playing the spin. They could not read the hand, because you have to read the hand whether it's going this way or that way. So they had a lot of success. And this is really very redeeming feature for not only Indian cricket, for the rest of the world, that you are seeing another art of bowling. It's not only bowling with the finger spinning. So, and this is a very deceptive bowling, because when you bowl a leg spinner or you are a wrist spinner, the degree of rotation that you are imparting to the ball with your wrist is not always similar. It's not constant. It varies. So the amount of spin also will be different. And it becomes a difficult proposition for a batsman to guess. And you will be surprised to know, even today, in West Indies, I talked to the legends. Sir Gary Sobers, Sir Everton Weeks
Mm.
and Sir Viv Richards, of course, has not played against that great spinner.
Mm.
They all of them said, without my naming, I said, sir, who was the most difficult bowler that you played against?
Mm.
Both Everton Weeks and Sir Everton. Without winking their eyelids, they said, Gupte. They didn't know the first name. They don't call Gupte, they say Gupte. I said, Subhash Gupte.
Sure.
Then I asked Sir Gary Sobers, sir, why were it so difficult? Ordinary leg spinner and googly will bowl. He said, Subhash bowled 3 googlies. I was stunned. I know only one googly. He said, no. He bowled a googly which was a normal googly, another googly which will come very fast to the wicket, and one googly whose speed which could not fathom. So that is why he was a great spinner. And when he went to West Indies, he was an understudy to Vinu Mankad. They hit Vinu Mankad all over. His average was per wicket more than 50, where Subhash got 27 wickets with the average against 29 point something, 27 point something, and against great bowling, batting strength of 3 Ws, Weeks, Warren and Walcott, forget Jeff Stolmer, Alan Ray and Bruce Paraday and so on and so forth, Harry Gomez, all these batsmen. The 3 great Ws, unke against Malaria.
Yeah. Now I have to ask you, the fielders. How important are the fielders in the game? Of course, all the players are important.
Very good question. The 2 very important components which have sprung up suddenly in cricket. One is the art of fielding. The other is running between the wickets.
Sure. Yeah.
With the introduction of the limited over cricket, which I call instant cricket or like instant coffee, these 2 departments have made tremendous stride. The running between the wickets has improved like anything. They know how to run. They know the technique of going for a quick single. They will play with a soft hand so that the ball remains here and they quickly run. The running has improved so much that when they make a shot and they know that they have to take a couple, while crossing they'll say in Hindi or whatever language they are speaking, 2. Immediately, this means the other side also, the fellow knows that we have to cross over. So there will be no loss of paces. They will cover it up. And even if they find they are shorter, you see all of them dive. Have you ever seen in players of 60s or 70s diving? Nobody dive.
Yeah.
Now they are diving. So this is all. And then the fielding has improved. They know where a ball could be hit. So diving, the flying catches which you see these days, the match that we lost in the World Cup to New Zealand, Dinesh Karthik got to a brilliant catch. In fact, the word which I am using, brilliant, is not the appropriate word I am using. I should find some other word. I am trying to fathom the dictionary and I don't find it. It was what a catch, what a historical catch. He flung himself just to the left and caught the ball in the left hand. So this is because the standard of fielding, it is not fielding has improved. The standard of fielding, the bar has been raised very high. Incredible catches are taken. Incredible throws are made and you see the man is going to take a run.
So now I will ask you, what are the, let's say, pick 3 good changes in the cricket and 3 bad changes in the cricket for the last 60 years?
Well, the good things are the game is becoming very popular now. And the people, the youngsters today, if you ask them, and I'm particularly, if I have any voice, I will not use the word authority, but I'll use the word if I have to use my voice, I'll say, in the subcontinent. If you ask a youngster today what you will play, he will say cricket. There's one part. Another part of your question I will answer. If you travel by train in India, and when the harvesting is done, just look outside. You'll find in all those fields which have been harvested, all the kids with a broken bat or a raft of wood, with a tennis ball or something playing cricket. What does this signify? That the game has gone to the masses. जनता में इनका खेल हो गया. So this is where the game has gone to. It should become.
I remember when I was growing up in my village, we had not even heard of cricket at that time.
That's right. That's exactly. So this is what is the volume. This is what is the indication, the meter that says the popularity of the game which it has gone. It's good.
Okay, one more good thing.
The good thing is, look, it's good that the youngsters, whichever part of the country they are, to get into sport will keep you away from the things which are bad in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, today drug problem is the one which is afflicting the younger generation much more.
Mm-hmm.
If these youngsters are into any game, it's not cricket,
Mm-hmm.
so they will be away from it because when they start enjoying a particular game, they will be away from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good for the society, for the individual and the family itself, and for the country at
Mm-hmm.
large.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something very good.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it is also what
Mm-hmm.
that the benefits that the monetary benefits that they accrue to them because of playing
Sure.
cricket. It is not only at test level. Today, even at the junior level, the domestic cricket also, the players are well compensated. It is not only the players, even the umpires are very well compensated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the larger picture of the cricket, I think everywhere
Sure.
you see the flower is blooming.
So now let's reverse the cycle and go to the three bad things, which you think should not have happened in cricket.
I don't like this aggressiveness too much.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it called gentleman's game?
Mm-hmm.
Moment the man in white coats raised his finger,
Mm-hmm.
nobody questioned. They knew it was a wrong decision. There was no technology to back it up, and they quietly walked away.
So I
They
have
were
to
known as
stop. I have to
walkers.
stop you and ask you. You mentioned the aggressiveness is a bad thing. What about Virat Kohli then?
No, that is part of his
That's a part of his
personality.
Okay. I just want to
Yeah,
clarify.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's part of his
Okay. So let's get back. So.
No, what I'm trying to say is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't say aggressiveness is not good. It's good. If you are doing it and it's paying dividends to you also. But if you are asking me, I'm looking at it as the canvas, which is much bigger,
Sure.
which I have seen. I have not seen Don Bradman, one of the greatest cricketer ever. You see, you and cry if he was given. Was he not given out? And many times when he thought he could not be out. He never showed a dissent. This thing has come into cricket, now dissent. You show your anger and wrath and everything. It's just rather bad. It's against the game. Spirit of the game. It's not a gentleman's game.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing is too much of money.
Okay.
This perhaps spoils the attitude of the person concerned.
The fun and the spirit
Yeah.
of the game.
You see, so this is one aspect which is. Now, other thing is, let every game project itself in one manner.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening is, if something is catchy somewhere, the cricket also follows it.
Mm-hmm.
The cheerleaders. It was not part of cricket at
Sure.
any time, even when instant
Sure.
cricket started.
Yeah.
So they looked at football. They thought, why not bring back the people who might be on the ground, maybe not looking at the game, maybe look at the cheerleaders.
Sure.
So they got
Absolutely.
cheerleaders.
Yeah, sure.
Why copy somebody? Let the game run in its own way. Cricket has its own majesty, if I'm sorry to use that word,
Sure.
which has connotation of imperialism,
Sure,
but
sure.
still, it has
Sure,
its own
sure.
majesty. So,
Sure.
But still,
Okay.
so
Now, before I let you go, I have a couple of other questions for you. One is about your books. So, I think you've written about close to 2 dozen books, and all of them are on cricket. What inspired you to write those books and what they talk about?
you see, what happens is, my first overseas trip was to West Indies in 1976. I had heard of 3 Ws, I had heard of Sunny Ramadeen and Valentine, and I admired of them. And I had seen Frank Worrell and Ramadeen play in India. Everton Weeks I saw play in India. Clyde Walcott I had seen play in India. But the other component which touched my heart when I was in the Caribbean, especially in Trinidad and Guyana, which is a very important segment of the Indian population.
Sure.
When I went for the local functions in marriages and so on and so forth, I saw the traditional Indian function, the marriage, the costumes, the whole marriage ceremony, which reminded me of my childhood, of my elders getting married in my village, which is no more there.
Sure.
We have cast it off,
Sure.
discarded it,
Sure.
but it existed there.
Mm-hmm.
The same food and the word pulori, which I had heard in my village, I heard it in Trinidad and Guyana. This touched my heart, that the ancestors of these people came under very trying circumstances to Trinidad and Guyana to cultivate sugarcane. And they have stuck to that tradition, being away from that so-called motherland,
Yeah, for hundreds of years.
150 years and more.
Mm.
This stuck to me. So I thought I must write a book.
Okay.
The other part which I should come back, the West Indies cricket is a very unique cricket.
Mm-hmm.
If you go through their history, at every stage you have a brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
George Headley,
Mm.
number one batsman of the
Mm.
1930s.
Mm.
But the team was not there.
Mm.
Frank Worrell knit all 21 islands into a team.
Mm.
So to bring more than 20 islands together, there's always the crack joke against you. The Ghanis will run down Trinidad and Trinidadians will run down the Jamaicans. This used to be happen.
Sure.
Maybe Jamaicans will be together, Ghanis will be together, Barbadians will be together. Frank Worrell said no, we will be all one.
Mm.
This appealed to me.
Mm.
So I said I must write it.
Mm.
So the first book which I did was West Indies India. It was not India West Indies. It was West Indies India Test cricket,
Mm.
where from 48 till 78 all the series I covered. But not only that, other important components were the brief history of each of these four major islands, political history, the culture, the tourism, and the Indian component, the Indian diaspora.
Mm.
So that was my first.
And what is the last book you did, and when was that published?
Well, this year I worked on 3 books.
Okay. Actually, I have starting with here. So these are some of your.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this came earlier.
This was commentary box set,
Mm.
and then you have a. This is in English, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cricket commentary and.
Cricket commentary and commentary. This is on the history of Test cricket commentary in the 10 Test playing countries
Mm-hmm.
and their prominent commentators.
Mm.
And not only that, there are language commentaries.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing which I must share with you, and I think the viewers will also like to know it.
Mm.
Hindi cricket commentary started in 1960.
Yes, with you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Over the years, when I met my friends in Pakistan, they said, "Oh no, why we started Urdu commentary? Because you people started Hindi commentary."
Mm.
Sri Lanka followed suit. They started Sinhala.
Mm.
And when Bangladesh got into Test cricket, they started Bangla commentary.
Bengali, yeah.
So Hindi commentary was the revolution in the subcontinent. It was the spark
Mm-hmm.
which ignited by the Hindi commentary and spread over the subcontinent.
Okay, now you have to do this favor to me. Is suppose a cricket match is going on, and I just want to hear, still many people can still relate with your voice. Those who grew up in India and heard your commentary on cricket in Hindi. Can you just say just one line or how you start critical commentary?
Before coming that, I'd like to comment on this book.
Okay.
This is a book on cricket in Indian mythology.
Mm-hmm.
I am a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
so our vision is little more wider.
Mm-hmm.
My lens is not limited.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pilot has a 3-dimensional view of everything. That's why he's a very successful pilot. So
Mhm.
maybe the teachers also have to have that 3-dimensional view.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, when I have been cricket, if I today tell something about the technique of Gavaskar or Virat, it doesn't matter. A lot of media people are talking about it. Let me talk something substantial.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Over the years, I was thinking about the origin of cricket, which was in England, normally accepted. A professor in Bonn,
Mm-hmm.
linguistic professor in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
by the name of Gilmeister,
Mm-hmm.
he came up, he did some research and he found out that cricket is not the origin of Englishmen.
Mm-hmm.
Englishmen, on their estates, they employed philanders,
Mm-hmm.
the poor people from adjoining countries, Holland, Belgium, these places.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to work on their farms. The Kent was a very wooded area, county of England.
Mm-hmm.
So they used to take their sheep for grazing to the
Mhm.
wooded area. So when you are there, the sheep will be growing, you need entertainment.
Mhm.
So what they did, they used to cut a log of wood, make a ball of the wood,
Mm-hmm.
and they will hit it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how cricket started.
Okay.
So this is a picture
Mm-hmm.
showing this is the primitive cricket, archaic cricket.
Okay, here, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
It's an after wood
Mm-hmm.
and the wood
Mm-hmm.
and the wood.
Mm-hmm.
Here you see another picture. Lord Krishna playing the same type of game which is known as in our history as Kundak Krida, Kanduk Krida.
Mm-hmm.
How Lord Krishna played? It was an after wood in Vrindavan, the famous tree, Kadam, which you know,
Yeah.
and the inflorescence, rounded ball
Mm-hmm.
with which he hit.
Mm.
You say it was in 1500, so the cricket played in England. This was 5,000 years ago. Played.
Sure. Okay. An interesting topic title too, Arthur. Sure.
And then this theory was also disproved. That the Englishman claiming that in National University of Australia, they dug out a poem written in the old English style, in the Shakespearean style type of English, where they said those who play cricket should be externed from England, they should be expelled. So if it was a game of Englishmen, why should they expel
Why
people?
should we expel? Sure.
So this particular poem added to the theory of Gilmeister that it's not a game of Englishmen.
Okay.
And I am trying to prove, yes, it is not a game of Englishmen. It is a game of Lord Krishna, which only Indians play.
Okay.
And then a famous game which perhaps you might have played, I have played in my childhood, the Gulli Danda.
Gulli Danda, of course. Yeah.
What is Gulli Danda?
Sure.
You hit it.
Sure.
Same thing in cricket.
Sure.
So all these games have been played in India. Why are you taking credit for that? I know I will be, broken to pieces by Englishmen, but that's my thinking.
Sure, no, absolutely. I have written a book too. You have proved
Two things I'll put more. Okay. I said that in this book of cricket commentary and commentators, the first commentator of cricket was a priest from the church, Frank Gilligan. In his childhood, he had played for Essex County cricket also, and good batsman. When he used to do the prayers for the mass in the church, he was a very prolific, very popular speaker. People used to come to the chapel. In fact, there would be overflowing people listening to him outside. So they commissioned him to do the first commentary in 1927 for a match which was played against New Zealand for Essex County and New Zealand at Newton. And England former captain Plum Warner was his co-commentator. So this is the history recorded in this book also. I said, no. The first commentator of the word was Sanjaya of Mahabharata.
Yeah, I remember this story.
He is sitting in Hastinapur commenting on Kurukshetra. That's one part I will not go into detail.
Sure.
The last part of my thesis here. When the third umpire came into cricket, I was commentating in Calcutta for Hero Honda Cup final between India and West Indies. Vinod Kamli was given run out by the third umpire. So it came to my mind as a zoologist. I said that time third umpire was not, it was used as third eye. The nomenclature was different, third eye. So I said, well, the third eye appeared in animals only first time in the dinosaurs. So many billions years ago, and they ruled the earth at that time and they disappeared. But we have a proverbial third eye, Lord Shiva.
Sure, yes.
This Tisra Netra, when it opens, it causes devastation, destruction. In cricket also, when the third eye opens, that is the third umpire gives a decision. If it is out, it is a pralay for a batsman. If it is not out, it is a destruction for a bowler. So there is a function similarity between third eye of Lord Shiva and third eye of cricket.
So that's why mythology of cricket, right? Okay.
So these are 3 points I raised in
Excellent.
this.
Now let's come back to my request to you. We just want to hear just one quick commentary for 30 seconds or something.
Actually, these days I'm not commentating, and mostly I do more analytic work on the theory. But I will only give you a glimpse of how we used
Just,
to
for the memory's sake, absolutely.
Let me recompose myself.
Sure,
and
I'll
what
take
I
your
used to
time.
say.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I know I put you on the spot, but...
No, you are putting me to a test, I know it. Indirectly or directly, but anyway, I have to face the music.
Sure, okay, good.
You see. मैं रवि चतुर्वेदी फिरोज शाह कोटला से बोल रहा हूँ। आज यहाँ पर मैच है वेस्ट इंडीज और भारत का, और देखिए समय के बदलने के साथ सब चीज़ बदलती है। आज यहाँ पे क्रिकेट का मेला लगा हुआ है। एक ज़माना था कि इसी शहर में पुरानी तरह का एक मेला लगा करता था, फूल वालों के शहर, जिसमें दिल्ली के नौजवान सब इकट्ठे होते हैं, उनका मनोरंजन होता था। लेकिन समय के बदलने के साथ मनोरंजन के साधन बदल गए हैं। अब उसी शहर में वो मेले के बजाय क्रिकेट का मेला लग रहा है, लेकिन उसी तरह दिल्ली वाले सब यहाँ आ रहे हैं, वो भी उसका आनंद उसी तरह से ले रहे हैं। खैर चलिए, ये बात की बात है। मैच शुरू करते हैं। भारत के कप्तान पटौदी टॉस जीत लिया और भारतीय टीम का ये टीम खेलेगी, और पहला ओवर शुरू होने के पहले गेंद थमा दी गई। अब विकेट दोनों तरफ अंपायर है मोहनी और उस तरफ सत्यजीत रहे, और अब चलते हैं मैदान की तरफ जहाँ पहली गेंद अभी फेंकी जाएगी।
So this was all on the radio, all the radio. Right. Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Yes. Now, before I let you go, just a couple of other things I wanted to ask you. Recently, you visited Caribbean. Was there any special region you went there, and what was your purpose of your visit there?
An Indian always in his life thinks he will undertake a pilgrimage to the holy places.
Mm-hmm.
For me, cricket has been my lifelong romance. And my wife concedes, which I've written in my book. The first love of my life is cricket.
It is so obvious.
Yeah.
It's your books and your passion.
So, having seen these legends from close range, they left lasting impressions on my mind and my psyche. I thought there's a video coming up on my life as a cricket commentator. So I thought these legends whom I have seen play, who inspired me, and with one of them, that is Sergei Sobers, I have shared a mic as a commentator in 1994. And I am very privileged and I am very humbled with the blessings given to me as a friend by Service Hall. So I thought I must meet them. They are now aged. I don't know any time anybody can go. I may go, they may go. And I thought this will be a part of my memory. So I thought I must make a journey to Barbados. So I made and that's why I say I made a pilgrimage to Barbados. India people will be surprised and they may execute me for this remark of making a pilgrimage to Barbados, not to Badrinath or Kedarnath.
Sure.
So I was very lucky in the fact that I was able to meet these three legends in 2 days. And the nostalgia that revived my revive and theirs also was very heart-touching. I mean, this is the most treasured part of my life as a cricket commentator. Not only as a cricket commentator, but as Ravi Chaturvedi, as a lover of the game and a follower of the game. Imagine sharing a lunch with Sergei Sobers or having a dinner, and you will be surprised to know that Mr. Hall was very angry with me because I was joining him for only dinner at 6:30. He said, "No, you are in Barbados. You must come to my house." So I had to cancel certain engagements and go to his house. And he was so, look, these cricketers are so generous. So I'm a small fry. The favors that they bestowed on me, he said, "Leave your driver. I will see that you are dropped in your hotel." 5 hours spent. I'm so touched by it that to spend 5 hours with such great players, the greats of the game like Vesol. And then he takes me for a dinner and then drops me at home. I mean, it was really a touching gesture, and I think it is a fulfillment of my life.
Sure. And also, if I'm not mistaken, you were also awarded one of the Padma Shris in India.
Yeah, I got my Padma Shri in 2012.
In 2012, for your contribution to the cricket game of cricket. And this is absolutely the last fire chat with you. In historically, first, the best batsman ever in cricket.
In fact, I'll split this question into two.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. The best batsman ever we have, and I don't think we'll have another batsman like him, will be Sir Donald Bradman. And I'm very lucky to have met him. I will add to this another question. Let us not, at any time when you're talking of any game, there is a particular type of environment, particular type of situation. Comparison is a very odious thing. Because when Batsman played, why I give him so much weight? The wickets were not covered. The conditions were always alien to him when he was playing. So therefore, when he ended up with an average of more than 99.4, this is something very brilliant about him. Imagine England had to use his tactics altogether different to ration his run making. They devised bodyline bowling with 6 fielders around in and target the body. There was going to be a break of diplomatic relation between England and Australia because of the bodyline bowling. So that's why he's a great batsman, and that average will not be attained by him. Second, following part, the corollary to it. If at all there's a complete cricketer, there's only one. That is Sir Gary Sobers. He was a left-handed batsman with more than 8,000 runs. At that time, two great batsmen of West Indies were ruling the roost as far as batsmanship was concerned. They were Gary Sobers and Ron Kanai. But the added asset of Gary Sobers is he was a medium fast bowler and a wrist spinner also. The last, he was equally proficient as a short leg fielder. Sir Gary Sobers is a complete cricketer, and till in this day, history of cricket commentary, history of Test cricket, starting from 15th of March 1877 till this day, there's only one complete cricketer, that is Sir Gary Sobers.
Best Indian batsman ever?
Look, I will again split this question into two.
Okay.
As a child, I saw Vijay Merchant bat. And if you ask me, that late cut which made was so stylish. The late cut means it should be made late. And as a child, 9 years old, I saw him play at Firozshah Kotla. When he made that late cut, I thought the ball was going to the wicketkeeper's hand. But before it could pass the stumps, he made a late cut and the ball flew to the boundary. I am no doubt. When he went to England in 1936 and again in 1946, he made a lot of impact on English cricket. He made more than 2,500 runs in second and more than 1,750 runs in the first visit. And the second batsman to score a century in England, second Indian batsman, Mushtaq Ali got 5 minutes earlier a century and then Vijay. In this tour he made more than 2,000 runs and the only Indian to score a century in a test match. Neville Cardus wrote about him. He never made an unchristian stroke. The greatest to go player. And I also admired him. But when you look at the bigger canvas, the cricket is a very big, scene. And in the present context, I come back, I think Sunil Gavaskar is a very great batsman. Why? Not 10,000, because he made the first man in Test cricket to cross the boundary of 10,000 runs. No, that's not the benchmark. That's not the criteria. That's not the meter to judge him. I judge him from another angle. He had only a cap, pad, and the gloves. No arm guards, no chest guards, no abdomen guards. These leg guards. The upper part of the body protected. And whom he was playing? The best fast bowlers at that time in the world. Lilly, Thompson, Snow, Willis. I'm not taking Botham. Now come to West Indies. Roberts, Holding. Who else? There are 4 names I can give you who were also there. And Pakistan, Imran and Sarfraz. And 2 greatest spinners at that time, Lance Gibbs, who created a record of highest wicket, 309, and Underwood. Against them he made 10,000. No guard, nothing. Today the players are gladiators. Clad all over the body. Sunil was not clad anywhere. And against them he made. And never ever he was hurt, hit by any fast bowler. That's why I salute him. He's the greatest batsman.
What about the bowlers, for example?
It is a very difficult question, but as I said, maybe I've already answered the question, which is not my opinion. I subscribe to the opinion expressed by the others, support the thesis which they have brought. I say if Gary Sobers says, or Week says that Subhash Gupta was a great spinner, I agree with him, and because of the explanation given by Sir Gary Sobers. But I will add one factor. Subhash could have been still a greater bowler. India's fielding at that time was, we dropped catches by dozens. Vishan Bedi, Prasanna, Chandrasekhar and Venkat Raghavan. They had the support of the greatest fielders, Solkar, Wadekar, Surti, Abid Ali, Venkat Raghavan. They were all very good close-in fielders. So they had a support. Subhash didn't have that support. So therefore Subhash is one of the greatest spinners in the world. And in many books I've seen which have selected, the spinner was, Jim Laker was asked to select with the best spinners of the Test cricket. Subhash Gupta was one of them, either first or the second.
Mr. Chaturvedi, thank you very much. It was really an honor and pleasure to talk to you. I wish we could spend here and talk, I think, for hours and hours, but really appreciate you coming all the way, and thank you very much for your time.